Has anyone ever told you that you were crazy? Or have you quietly wondered, am I crazy? If so, you are not alone. Being transgender comes with a lot of extra challenges. It's a weight that you carry with you throughout time. It's something we're all born with, this gender identity, and when you're transgender, you know from a young age that something is different. But depending on your surroundings and the things that you are aware of, it takes a while to figure it out and to verbalize, and for other people to really understand what you're saying. So what ends up happening are a lot of misdiagnoses and coping mechanisms that make you into a unique individual. I think that a lot of transgender people can relate to depression, or have had a little bit of depression in their lifetime, just because when you are not having any acknowledgement about who you are, it's very painful. So there's a lot of pain that comes with being invisible. No one can see who you really are. When you're appearing as a woman, but you're a man, it messes up all kinds of communication, and it feels like you're trapped and alone and that sort of thing. So there's huge amounts of loneliness, and that alone right there is hurtful. And then as you watch your body change, another common problem among trans people, especially when you are in a female body and you're male identified, then all these extra curves and softness is very foreign and alien, and you try to do all kinds of exercise, and you watch your food intake, and you're doing everything. You're becoming anorexic, basically. You have eating disorders now because you're trying to create this body that in some ways is impossible, because hormones do regulate your muscle growth and your fat distribution. So it's like a battle that you can't win if you're just using food and exercise and eating disorders to try and do that. So eating disorders, depression. Another one that I think is very interesting to think about, just all kinds of social anxiety, or even ADD. The way you have to use attention, and this is something within my own story I realized kind of putting it together, but it was so hard to be in groups for me, and what I did to protect myself was I just sort of tuned out sometimes when it was difficult, because being constantly misidentified, being spoken to as a woman, having to deal with like stereotypical women-y things, no, just kidding, all the role expectations and so forth, all that stuff, and just listening to people call me she and a woman's name, and that hurt in a way that I couldn't address all the time. I couldn't deal with all the time. I just had to check out. I had to be there but not be there. And what ended up happening is sometimes I came across as a little bit aloof, or like a space cadet, or like I wasn't paying attention. And this happened in the classroom too. From classroom to any kind of birthday party or whatever, like if I wasn't seen correctly, then I just sort of wasn't there, and I could, therapeutically I just had to check out. So it's just so sad, because with all the different things, with all the different labels that can be put upon a transgender person, what's the seed of the problem is just the transgender issue, and it is a simple issue. It is not it is something that can be worked with. It is something that can be fixed even. I believe that the hormone replacement therapy is one of the best ways to treat this sort of medical condition. It's just a physical thing, and when you treat it as a physical sort of birth defect, or something like that, then wow, you can fix all the mental issues so fast. Just allowing people to be in the body that matches their understanding of how they are. It feels as though from the inside, and especially from my experience, I feel as though my brain is just wired to have the experience like it's wired to connect to a man's body, and now that my body is changing to be, now that it's a man's body, suddenly everything makes sense. All my little social anxieties, are going away. Any kind of depression I felt is gone. And I love hearing some of the interviews I've done with friends of the past, or even my sister, like, how am I different than before? People say, you're happier. And I don't notice that, but now I am really conscious of that. Like, of course I'm happier. Like, this is great. This is the way to face this issue, just by allowing people, giving people the support to transition using hormones. And some of you may think, well, now it's available, now that support exists, but really this is not covered by most insurance companies, policies, blah blah blah. This is also treated like a mental disorder or something, which it's not. And basically there's tons of discrimination and misunderstanding that exists in all the cultures across the world. Okay, so there's a lot of work to be done, but I think this is a really interesting subject matter. I'm curious about people's experiences out there dealing with different diagnoses, different labels, different problems that came along with being trans. Why did that happen? Did it go away? Do you agree with anything that I've said? I'd like to hear some of your thoughts, and I really appreciate everyone. So, later.